Look, I'm not even gonna edge y'all or none of that. We gonna get right into the tea. So it was revealed that, well, we'll get to, well, you can read it in the headline. He was given over 4 years in prison. But before we get to that, I am going to edge y'all a little bit, and I'm going to edge y'all in the fact of what had transpired before the whole sentencing situation came down. So his kids went, they was pleading, crying, Academy Award winning performances they were giving. Even 50 Cent took to social media being messy in the whole situation and decided to post a fake letter to the judge, Aaron Submaranian, which basically he was saying that he wanted the judge to consider the safety of the generational public before unleashing Diddy upon them. That would be the public. So here's what he said. He said, "Dear Judge Submaranian, I have had an ongoing dispute with Puffy because they always call him Puffy. Him and Wendy stay calling him Puffy for over 20 years. He is very dangerous. Multiple times I have feared for my Child. I have feared for my life. I think you should consider the safety of the general public, Your Honor, before unleashing him upon them. There hasn't been enough time for him to reform or make any adjustments, despite his trying to teach a class in there. As you are already aware, the government has spent the maximum amount of money on deploying federal agencies, which appears to be an army, in two locations simultaneously. Later, his son, who's dealing with his own R-word allegations, claimed that the feds had hit the wrong house. Anyway, Diddy's only going to return to hiring more male sex workers and keep most of the baby oil away from the general public. And babies need it. My Netflix doc on this scandalous subject is coming soon." And I'm glad he addressed that at the end, because I was sitting there wondering, wait a minute, didn't 50 say that he was coming out with a docu-series or whatever the case was on Diddy? I'm like, what happened with that? He probably was waiting until all of this came out before he decided to jump on the situation. But that's not all, because funny enough that 50 said that, because I never believed that Diddy was reformed. You cannot, I don't know how you're going to be reformed in a year and doing all this other stuff. And he did do all the pleading and everything. But here's the gag. So I came across this tweet that I want to show y'all, where they were basically talking about that he already booked public appearances and started making speaking arrangements. And this is supposed to be in Miami as soon as next week. So he thought he was getting out of jail. He thought that, oh, if I do all these little things, whatever, I'm going to be able to schmooze my way out of, the Metropolitan Prison down in Brooklyn. And it's like, sir, that was cute and it worked for you 30 years ago when you were able to slither your way out of that little pow situation where Sean went to jail for you for 10 damn years. And then you was able to slither your way out of the situation when you went and they had that whole stampede happen at the basketball celebrity event. You were able to slither your way out of things on the come up because you were making a lot of money for a lot of businesses, and you were able to finagle your way out of there. But then once your star started to wane, that was like karma was like, okay, bitch, I'm ready to collect. And collect she did. And that's why your ass is going to spend almost 4 years and 2 months to be specific in prison. So yeah, I want to point that out to y'all. So do that sound like a man that has truly reformed and found the error of his ways by basically um saying like, okay, you did your time, but then you thought you was going to do time served, and then next week you was going to start doing little speaking arrangements or whatever the case is, because there's money in traveling and doing speaking arrangements. So now you're trying to basically reinvent yourself as like this guy who's pretty much reformed. When I'm looking at you with the side eye, I'm like, Denny, this is another damn con. So now, I wanted to see if there was anything else that I needed to add to that. Oh yeah, so we need to talk about Diddy's letter, because I want to get to that. I want to scroll through all the other stuff, make sure. Okay, so they say in his letter to Judge Aaron Submaranian, Combs apologizes for assaulting his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, writing, "I literally lost my mind." Well, you should have said that a while ago, back when you did a little Instagram video, but nobody was buying it. Them eyes was yellower than somebody with lupus or kidney disease, and you was big and busy up in there sitting there talking about, oh, you said what you said, and then you deleted the Instagram video that you had up talking about how sorry you was with Cassie. I don't believe you. I don't think you was ever sorry, and I'm sure all those people that was sitting up there going hard for Diddy ass, because y'all hate women and don't have respect for women, that Y'all are probably gagging and eating your words and looking like Boo Boo the Fool now, because a lot of y'all don't know how to talk to women, so or know how to act around them. He also said that I'm sorry for that and always will be. My DV will always be a heavy burden that I will have to forever carry. Yes, you will for the next 4 years and 2 months of prison, where you're gonna be sitting behind them four walls thinking about what the hell you did, and hopefully you actually will put in the work to rehabilitate yourself. Hopefully you'll be able to do that and not just giving a bunch of damn word salad because you thinking that's gonna get your behind up out of there. So they said he also apologized to an anonymous woman who testified during the trial under the name Jane, and says he became lost in the drugs and the excess. Well, child, I told you that, and I wasn't even doing the shit you was doing. He said, I lost my way. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. I have been humbled and broken to my core. Well, I think this is probably the most honest he's been since this whole situation went down. Well, I always say, in the words of JoJo, it's too little too late. So then Combs' accusers also wrote to the judge describing how he wielded his power and influence to ruin their lives and their fears that he would seek revenge if freed, saying, I am so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be swift retribution towards me and others who spoke up. He basically gonna challenge the other person that's slightly tan, the president, except his tan is fake. She added that she believes he deserves a long sentence. Writing, he has no interest in changing or becoming better. He will always be the same cruel, power hungry, manipulative man that he is. And I totally agree with that. Because I've been talking about how cruel, power hungry, and manipulative Diddy has been long before all of this stuff was coming out. I've been screaming from the rooftops that that man was nothing but the devil. But you know, when people have money, power, and access, they don't want to hear it. They look the other way. They don't care because, oh, he rich. I don't give a good goddamn how rich somebody is. You see all these rich people running around doing all the things they doing in this country, and does that make it any better? So then Holmes went on to ask the judge for mercy, not only for my sake, but for not for the sake of your children. This is giving Kill Bill tease. Beseech you on behalf of my daughter. I was like, bitch, let's not go there. It's like you are not gonna sit up here and use your child as a Sloman shield to get past or children, because you had a bunch of them. She only had, Vernita Green only had one kid. And with you, you got six. I guess we're including Quincy, even though that he didn't come from your dick. You didn't shoot him up. You didn't shoot up Kim Porter in order to get Quincy. Y'all know. I'll be sure, child. So so um with all the kids, it's like, don't do that, sir. So yeah, he said, damn, I lost my place because when I be going in, sometimes I just be going a little too a little too left. Let me bring it back. Okay. Oh yeah, I found it. And it said, for the sake of his children, he also asked the judge to consider his seven. Okay, he has seven kids. My bad. And his 84-year-old mother, who recently had she had brain surgery. I did not know that Janice had brain surgery. But then again, some people said that Janice was kind of the mastermind behind a lot of the things, like what a lot of the way that Diddy became. Remember when she used to have her little freak offs at their house when he was growing up, and him and his cousin, the cousin was saying that him and Diddy was exposed to a lot of people in the rooms on the weekends, hunching and doing all kinds of stuff. So he probably learned about the whole pimp lifestyle from Janice. So you got enough people that I guess you still paying on the payroll, and them kids who are benefiting wholeheartedly from living off of your earnings and the things that you made or accumulated over the years in the business as a mogul, as a producer, as an artist, and all the other things, fashion designer, the endeavors, and the liquor line. I'm sure that all that money that you probably still got saved up, that you got plenty of them 7 children, choose one that can help take care of Janice. So they don't need you. You'll be fine. Where you at? So they said in July, a jury acquitted him in the most severe charges, racketeering and trafficking, which could have resulted in him spending the rest of his life behind bars. He was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation engaged in prostitution. They also said that, well, prosecutors said that he's unrepentant and argued the rapper should spend a minimum of 11 years in prison. Well, look, he didn't get the 11 years. 11 years. You didn't sacrifice, but you're going to spend the time that you're spending. So now, yeah, they said he was taken into custody in September last year, so he'll have more than a year of credit towards his incarceration. The judge also fined him $500,000 and offered 5 years of supervised release once Quint Combs leaves prison. So yeah, he's gonna spend the 4 years, and so that's basically like 9 years. You're doing 4 years and 2 months. When you get out, you got 5 years. You're gonna have to. It's gonna be supervised release. So if y'all thinking that this man gonna get out and start doing the things that he was doing, it's like no, we're gonna be keeping an eye on you. Kind of similar to the Austin Wolf situation. Like once he's done with his 19 years, then he's got to spend another decade of being supervised. And then they also said, to give a little more detail, Combs was sentenced under the Mann Act, which it basically means it is illegal to transport someone across state lines for the purpose of prostitution or other illegal sex acts. Combs was convicted of counts involving two former girlfriends, that would be Cassie and a woman who testified under the pseudonym Jane, who we already mentioned in this situation. So then they also said, well, they always mentioned that he apologized to the judge for his disgusting, shameful behavior and said that it was sick and all those things. He also told the judge that his DV is a burden that he'll have to carry for the rest of his life. We addressed that. Prosecutors had, of course, y'all knows, they want him to do 11 years, but he got the 4 and 2 months. And then they also, and then the judge went and said this, that which basically played a lot in his decision, even though some people are saying that he should have gotten more time. They're saying, he said, Jane and Cassie Ventura have been through abuse and trauma we couldn't imagine. I can only say your families are proud of you and your children will be proud of you for coming to the court to tell you what really happened. You weren't just talking to the jury, you were talking to the women who feel powerless. The judge who sent Combs away for multiple years behind bars encouraged the disgraced artist to make the most of his second chance, saying being a champion and uplifting Black and Brown communities, that's what you set out to do at the beginning of your career decades ago. Your letter said you lost your way, but there's a true path to redemption here. What went wrong and what can be made right? So, um, yeah, and he's absolutely right. It's like, yeah, if that was your intention, because we've seen the things that Diddy has done for the community, but a lot of times I'll be side-eyeing it because I'll be like, oh, you did what you did for the community, but then it's like y'all get caught up in the money, the power, the fame, the temptation, all those things, and then it's like regular sex don't become enough. So y'all gotta really push as hard as you can to get that same feeling you got when you was getting off with the regular sex. So you start pushing the boundaries, you start getting abusive, then you start doing the prostitutes, then you got to do all kinds of other freaky things. Like this is what they do. A lot of these rich folks do. Like regular sex. Some of the things y'all think is freaky, that not to them. They already been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. So they always got to try to find a way to push the boundaries because when you have so much money, power, and excess and access, I'm using both. You got to be able to do what you got to do to get your rocks off. So, um, I do think that 4 years and 2 months is not enough, but that's what he gave him. At least he's still doing time, and that goes to show you, sir, that you really thought that after all of this and the way the trial and stuff was sensationalized and how it all went about, that month and what was it, like 6 weeks that you were on trial in New York, that you really thought that, oh, you was just gonna get out. It's like, no, sir, I knew from the beginning you were doing time. So that's what he doing. So yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? This is the latest on the Diddy situation. Hopefully we can move on from all of it. I do wonder if he's actually going to be doing time in where he's at, or are they planning on moving him to like Rikers or something or another? That's what I want to know. And if I do, and if it does, I'm not gonna put somebody. I know a couple of COs at Rikers. I'm not gonna put them on blast. So I'm gonna just be quiet. Because I'll be like, I want to know, do you know what block he in? I don't want to get y'all fired because y'all working to get y'all pensions. You almost there, and I want to mess it up because I'm trying to be nosy. I mean, I'll find out, and then I'll let y'all know. But let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below.